very much. Parisi. Maybe the guy is from Paris, yes. This is why the name of my school, we call ourselves HEC Paris, so that you do not confuse us with HEC Montreal. This is a marketing tool. But we are one of the big business schools in Europe that is specialized in management and economics. We do only this, and we are located in Paris. It's our headquarters. So I have prepared something about this market entry strategy in emerging markets from a managerial perspective, from the point of view of the company, more precisely from the point of view of the strategy of the company. Not from the point of view of government, not from the point of view of the economists, looking at the battle between firms, but looking at the firm internally, why they invest in emerging markets, how they do it, what are the dangers, what are the opportunities. So this is our little program. In introduction, we'll look at the situation economically on the planet, where to go. And then I'll start immediately with the motivations for foreign FDI, foreign direct investment, investing in emerging markets. What are the motivations? And I will name 4 motives. Then I'll come back to strategy, and the main element in strategy is about competitive advantage. In planned economy, there is no strategy because there is no competition. So the beginning of strategy is when we are in an open economy, competitive, we have competitors, so the art of strategy is to do better than competitors, or at least to do differently. If you cannot do better, you can try to be different. It's already the beginning. Then we look at different ways to enter emerging market, what people call entry modes. And then I look at the managerial dilemma. I've selected 4 dilemmas that are important for CEOs. And finally, look at the difficulty or interest to compete in emerging markets. So let's start with the global outlook. And what we see on this map is that the distinction between developed economy, mature markets, emerging markets is difficult because in fact it's a continuum. So from the rich people of Norway there, or maybe the US, to the poor people in the middle of Africa, it's a continuum, from 0 to 100. So in fact, the dichotomy emerging markets, rich markets is not a great instrument. More than that, some economies have difficulty to emerge. Normally they should emerge, but they don't do it quickly. And the situation of China and Russia is quite different. Especially in the case of Russia. Russia is usually listed in the developing markets, but it's developing because it's redeveloping. So in a sense, it's the transition from planned economy to market economy, which face this situation. But again, just remember the idea of continuum from the richest to the poorest. Now this chart, I like it very much because you have on the right side, you have the list of the top 10 largest economies in the world. First of all, we see that the US and China are the 2 giants of today. We can discuss the parity of the US dollar and the Chinese currency, the renminbi, but basically we have these 2 big economies at the top. And then on the list of 10 countries, what do we see? We see countries that are well developed, like the US, immediately China, Japan, mature economy, Germany also, then India, then UK, France, Brazil, Italy, Canada. So size of the economy, nature of the economy, more emerging than mature economy, and we see the rate of growth, which is important lesson for today. What is interesting is that, of course, emerging markets are growing much faster than developed economy. This is the attractiveness of emerging markets. They are growing faster. The US are making a good performance these days. So economic growth in the US today might be 2%, 2.5%. It's very big for the US. In France, if we had 1.8%, we would be so happy. So 2%. Now let's look at China and India on the same chart. China, 6.4%, India 7.4%. So you see the big difference. So if you are in business, you are a company located in Russia, in France, wherever, you look at the situation, should I go more in rich market, slow growth, or should I go to emerging markets, such as China, India, Brazil, or Russia, I suspect might be number 11 or number 12 on this list, okay? So big choice for industrialists, where should we go? And of course, like butterflies, they look at the light, companies, they look at growth. In terms of geography, where do they invest the companies these days? Here we see developing Asia, which is the favorite. And in emerging nations, then Latin America, Africa, and Eurasia, by order of importance. But if you are adding all these statistics, you will see that the investment, at least during these years, 2015, part of the money went to rich market, part of the money went to emerging market, with the tendency to invest massively in emerging Asia, which means China, India, Thailand, Indonesia, whatever. Asian, so you speak Spanish, you said that you could speak Indonesian would be even better for this strategy. 2016, what were the economies that received the most money from abroad? We see two developed markets, the US and UK, and then immediately with this yellow color, China and Hong Kong, which means China, one way or another, and then Singapore, Brazil, and India at the bottom. So again, in 2016, part of the flow of money went to rich economies, such as the US and UK, and part of the money went to China, Brazil, and India. Now let's look at the motivation, and traditionally, economists distinguish four categories of reasons to invest abroad, and these are the four motivations. First motivation, I invest abroad because I'm looking for resources. I'm an oil company. I can stay if the country is rich in terms of oil, like Russia or Norway. I can use my own resources, but also I can try to expand. Okay? So looking for resources, first motivation. Second motivation, totally different. I'm looking for market. I'm a giant company making chocolate in Tomsk, and I want to grow. If I have conquered already the market of Siberia, of Russia, of Eurasia, then I start investing to conquer the markets of Africa, India, China, and so on. I'm market seeking, I look for new markets. Category 3 is slightly different. I look for assets that I don't have at home. Let's say you have a fashion company. You are based in Moscow, and you want to add brands, luxury brands. Maybe you are tempted to buy a company in Milano, in London, in Paris, to create the image, and to have the reputation of fashion and luxury. So you look for assets that are important. Could be assets in terms of technology, could be assets in terms of distribution, could be assets in terms of branding, could be also assets in terms of logistics. We'll see an example later. And final set is interesting. It's a combination. I'm Russian. Most 80% of my business is in Russia, but I've decided to invest in Africa. And Africa has its own specificity. I'm successful in Africa. I want to produce in Africa. So Africa can be a hub for me for production, distribution, even research and development. So I recreate a new center, kind of integrated for my operations. Of course, if I'm a company in a very rich country, we have seen Norway among the European very rich country, the cost of manpower is very high. So maybe to create a hub in Norway is expensive, because I'm only one. The next hub could be an emerging market to develop my business. So four motivations, and we'll see how these motivations apply to emerging markets. First of all, a recent article showed that for a Russian company going abroad, maybe not the top Russian multinational, but all Russian companies investing abroad, their main motivation is looking for new market-seeking approach. Second motivation, equally, looking for resources, such as oil and gas, or looking for technology, and not so much efficiency seeking. It doesn't mean that Russian companies are not looking for efficiency, but they don't want to build, for the moment, hubs abroad that cover all the activities, getting the resource, manufacturing, distribution, and sales. I'll give you 4 examples of motivation to invest in emerging markets, and I'll start with a company from Finland. The name is Stora Enso. This company is the headquarters are in Helsinki, and curiously, they have a lot of forests in Finland, like in Siberia. But they go abroad to invest in other forests. Why they go abroad? Well, based in Finland, you can transform the wood into paper, packages, elements for construction. This is okay, but then you have to export it from Finland. So it has a cost. So maybe you cannot reach all markets. So if you want to grow really, and if you have a competitive advantage, if you are superior than your competitor, you are tempted to invest in other regions where they have forests and where you can build a new hub for your activities. Let's take the case of one of these hubs, which is in the province of China in the west. And we see here, I want to give you an idea of the time frame. How long is it? You know, CEOs, they explain that, oh, I invest, I'm a Russian company, I invest in Nigeria, and it's a big success. Then, to demonstrate that it's a big success, might take 5, 10, 15, 20 years. It's a long story. So in the case of this company from Finland, they started exploring the opportunity to plant trees in China in 2000. And now they start investing more massively after many years of negotiation at different levels, government in Beijing, provincial level, making the local population happy. This is why they help them in terms of water supply or sewage in the region. So it's a long process. It's strategy, but it's not instant. By the way, what we call foreign direct investment means investment for the long term. If you buy shares at the stock exchange of New York or Shanghai, and you will sell these shares tomorrow, in a week, it's not FDI. FDI is long-term investment and is long-term in this industry at least. Let's take another case, number 2, market seeking, and this is French company Danone. These guys are specialists of dairy products and water. They sell you very expensive Evian water, which of course is much better than any other water in the world. But look at their plan and look at the situation. 96–80% of their business was in Europe. They looked at the statistics. If we stay in Europe, we shall not grow. We have to move. So we have to change totally our way of doing it and to start investing massively abroad. And this is their vision of the world. We want 40% of our sales in Europe, 20% in Russia and the US, to make it simple, and 40% in emerging markets, Asia Pacific, Latin America. So it's a plan. It's a plan to be well balanced in developed market, in growing market, and even for a company like this, which is specialized. It's not a giant like Nestle covering all food and beverage products. Danone is more segmented. Danone is more segmented, but even if you are segmented, you can cover the world. So they choose major target. It is China or not China and India. It is Russia or not Russia and Brazil. It is Mexico and Indonesia. And step by step, they will try to compare these different markets, but it takes each time 5, 10, 15 years. One dimension of this quest for market, for a marketing-oriented company like Danone, has to do with brands and what we call local responsiveness. You see here that maybe in Russia, the dairy products of Danone are not exactly the same as the one in Mexico. Maybe it's not the same taste. Maybe it's not the same language. They speak Spanish. Maybe it's not the same product. And certainly, it is not exported from Paris. So basically, you have to reinvent Danone for Russia. It's probably Spanish. I don't know Mr. Danone Russia, but certainly it's a Russian person. So it's totally adapted to the local country. Then you could say, but what is the benefit to have companies that are totally disconnected? The benefit, I come back to competition is your talent? It's not manufacturing. Your talent is developing new products and the talent of marketing and communication. A product is very successful in Russia, or even invented for Russia. And maybe I try to introduce the product in Korea. So again, you play with your managerial talent. It's not the talent of low cost or volume. It's the talent of capacity in terms of marketing and innovation, which is transferable from one country to another. But of course, you have not the benefits of standardization. It's not standard product. It's adapted. Maybe it's not adapted if I want to sell in Luxembourg because it is small. If it is Russia, yes, I have to adapt. So it's a special job for this market-seeking company. I was looking for an example of company looking for a strategic asset, which is logistics. So this is a Chinese giant, Costco, largest shipping company from China, probably in the top 4 or 5 worldwide. So they invest massively along the Suez Canal. It's not to control the canal. This is American strategy. The Chinese, they don't want to control the canal. They want their containers to go through the canal very rapidly and at a low cost. So they want to control the logistics. Right? It's the essence of the plan they call Belt and Road Initiative, and they do it in Suez, but they do it everywhere. This is the map of the investment of Chinese company in ports, again to make the trade easier and lower cost. I'm not sure what I will say about the map of Russia. First of all, it's only planned for Russia, but where is it planned? It's planned at the border between China and Russia, here. I forgot the name of the port. And it's planned here in the west, and certainly I suspect it might be Archangel here, and maybe more months later. So it is Chinese system, and the company which will develop the project is Costco, or another Chinese company, which is China Merchant. They invest in logistic hub to make their trade easier. Number 4 category of reasons to invest, to create a hub. So again, I picked a company from the Nordic region. The name is Kone. These guys are producing elevators and escalators. And what they do, they started investing in Kunshan. It's not far, 100 kilometers from Shanghai, so it's in developed part of China. And step by step, they have followed the economic growth of the region. Look at the percentage of growth, so you understand why growth is a motivation. But growth is a motivation, but I want also to reach step number 4 of this matrix of the reasons to invest abroad. I want to use my basis in China, not only to control a big market share, 30% of Chinese market, it's already immense, but from China to start exporting in Asia. So again, at one moment, it means that for these European companies, the case of European company, China is not only the second market they have, but probably bigger than their market in the Nordic countries. Same for Germany. A company like Volkswagen, of course, the market of China of Volkswagen is bigger than the market of Germany. So this is the idea to create powerful hub where you produce, eventually you develop research and development locally, and you can export in nearby countries. So what is the consequence on the art of developing competitive advantage? First of all, usually, even for big companies, you have to choose. You cannot be global. You have to choose in your portfolio of products those that have a chance to win and to penetrate quite quickly in these emerging markets. Let's say the home market is Western Europe. Let's say French company. French company in terms of distance, geographical, cultural, probably they would say, okay, if we have already conquered our home market, maybe we could go in French-speaking markets. Let's go to West Africa. But it is small. Maybe it's fast growing, but it is small. So it's not enough. Or maybe we could invest in Central Europe, in Poland. It's not far, it's a different culture, but it's accessible. So step by step, a company will start making a map of its priority in terms of geography. If I'm Spanish multinational, Aguas de Barcelona, for example, You are not like the French, you don't look at Africa, you look at Latin America. And you are number one in Argentina, in Chile, all Spanish-speaking Latin America. You are not in Brazil, even if Portuguese and Spanish are quite similar. So yes, the choices are choices at the same time of geographic target, but also selection in your portfolio of products. Those products that you have selected and you have the capacity to develop worldwide, in the end will be your major projects. The other will stay local. One difficulty, so when you go abroad, is to overcome what we call the liability of foreignness. So I was curious to know where are they investing, these Russian companies? I'm not speaking of Gazprom or Lukoil, but let's say ordinary Russian company. And this is the list of the top 5 companies in Europe, the top 5 countries where they invest. And basically, we have, what do we have? Why Czech Republic, Hungary, Poland, Slovakia, Slovenia? Why not Romania? Why not Baltic states? Why not Bulgaria? Why not Serbia? What is the? Can you explain the choice? It's not a choice. We look at statistics and we discover that it's to focus on these 5 countries. What is their advantage?
They're quite developed countries.
Quite developed. In the list of the along from the north to south, they are well developed. Yes, it's an advantage. Yes.
It's similar in culture and economic.
Yes. What else? They are EU countries. So if I'm successful in Poland and Hungary, I can sell to France or Germany, no borders. Remember, freedom of move of capital, goods, and finance. And yes, and I would say a common past. I do not say that the political relationship between Poland and Russia are very successful these days, but at least we know each other, right? So we have the demonstration that, of course, when you start growing internationally, you have a tendency to look at countries you understand well, and which has a reasonably stable economic, institutional environment, as you said, and well developed. But then it is a disadvantage because the cost of investing in Poland is much higher than investing in Romania. But maybe you are afraid of Romania in terms of instability. One specificity of emerging market is that you're not alone. So if China is important for Danone, it's also important for all dairy companies worldwide. So everybody is going there. Plus, locally, you meet local Chinese giants. And the local Chinese giant is a company with 300,000 employees and very big. So in fact, you have to compete with two enemies. Your own, let's say, Western partners investing in China, but the local champions that will resist and will try to eliminate you, to reject you. You're a foreigner after all. So in fact, it's big battle. If you're a big Russian company, maybe in Czech Republic, you are not so many big competitors in Czech Republic. Unless you are in the car business, because if you want to sell Lada against Skoda, who knows what will happen in Prague. I'm not sure who will be the winner. So intense competition to conquer these markets. Let's look at the 4 types of entry modes. We speak of greenfield investment. I start from zero, and step by step I build a company. Second approach, totally different, I buy a company, merger and acquisition. Third approach, I make a partnership, equity joint venture, make a deal, 2 companies, a local company maybe, and you, foreign company, you start working together, you create a joint venture, a common subsidiary to do business. And there is a number 4 category, non-equity collaborative agreement. First example, so greenfield investment, again a company from Scandinavia, Tetra Pak. So they entered in India, which is immense market for this, but they didn't want to negotiate and have local partners. They said, okay, we create a small office to sell our products. And then, possibly, we'll build a factory. And if it works, we'll build a second factory. So again, look at the period of time which is necessary for this company. The company is in Pune, it's not far from Mumbai. And what they do in India, they do in Russia, they do in China, and they do in other countries. So it's systematic. The policy of this company is let's work alone if we can, so that we have not to negotiate with foreign partners, and we introduce our own system of management. I was very surprised because a few months ago I was with Chinese officials in the Baltic region. They were coming from Minsk in Belarus. They were going to the port of Klaipėda in Lithuania, and they wanted to cross the Baltic Sea to join Sweden. So I said, are you crazy? It's far away from your basis. I said, no, Professor, you're very ignorant. South Sweden is very important for us. I said, it's very important. Why? Oh, they say, South Sweden, there is the headquarters of IKEA, plus a factory of IKEA. There is a factory of Volvo. And as you know, Volvo and the Chinese company work together. And there is a factory of Tetra Pak. And we, the Chinese, we want the biggest Tetra Pak factory in Hot. I think it's in Mongolia. I don't know if it exists really, because I've not been there. But it means, yes, big investments made step by step, but 100% Tetra Pak investment in each of the target countries. Second approach, merger and acquisition. This is the Lukoil, which is a very international oil company. By the way, with this map on the red color, you see that it is Lukoil. But if we were in Latin America, people say, oh, it's an oil company. They are present in Russia because there is oil. They are present in Nigeria. They are present in Egypt. They are present in the US. So the geography of an oil company has to do with geology, not about politics principally. So how Lukoil decided to enter new markets? Mainly by acquisition. So on a period from 1999 to 2013, they have acquired companies in Europe, in Africa, in North America, and in the Middle East. It's not the total map of Lukoil assets, but it means that they use the mix of presence in new oil field, for example, or acquisition to grow quickly enough to represent sufficient bargaining power in this specific market. This is another Nordic company, Yara, and this is their entry into the Brazilian market. This company is making fertilizers. So here also a series of acquisitions. And what is the limit? And what is the goal? Remember, these companies always will show you the percentage of the market they have after a long story. So in the case of Yara, today, they are number one in Brazil, and it was their objective to be. Danone would say, if we are not in the top three, we prefer not to go. So it's true, because if you are at the bottom of the list, you will never make money. So ambition, again, is market share, profitability, and in that case, by a series of acquisitions. Yara is in Brazil, Yara is not in the other Latin American countries, it's their main choice. So you cannot offer to conquer the world immediately. I've been working at one moment with a French company, the name is Saint-Gobain, they're in the glass business, so it's a giant. And basically, their doctrine was never enter a partnership, if you can, if you are not obliged to, if you are not tortured. Why? Because the partner will delay decisions, will steal the technology, will impose bad managers, and will put financial constraints. So if you are not obliged to, sometimes the government, the local government may oblige to, please don't enter a joint venture. The manager that received this material within the company, imagine when you have this message from your CEO, your president, you don't even try. You try to be alone. So this is Saint-Gobain doctrine. But reality might be different in other company, and I go directly to this joint venture, which is interesting. Renault, a large French company in the car business, and Automas. This is a Lada producer Again, look at the timing. 2008, an agreement which has a political dimension. The destiny of Autovaz, Lada, is very important for Russian government. So you deal with a company, but you deal with a government. And Renault is a big company, it's private, but you know, French government is not far away. So in a sense, you have the complexity of two governments and two big companies, and different culture, different heritage. But they make a deal, and the deal is blessed by the president of Russia. But at one moment, the market is not so good in Russia, so the company is not making a lot of money. So somebody has to put more money in the battle than the other. And the stakeholders of Autovaz on the Russian side cannot offer this. So the dilemma for a company like Renault, a foreigner in Russia, is either I stop, because my partner cannot follow, we cannot reinvest equally, the two companies, or I put the money on the table because I believe in the market, I believe in the company. So in that case, Renault said, 2016, no problem, we invest 1 billion euros to give the company enough financial resources to continue. So you could wonder why Renault is putting so much money in this battle, why in Russia, why not in Brazil, why not in China. The point is that Renault is not so present in China and India, little presence. And Renault, the main competitor of Renault is Volkswagen. Volkswagen is strong in Europe, thanks to the partnership with Skoda on history, Central Europe, Germany. So Renault decided that the good partner was Russia. So you see, it's a competitive move. It's not only France, Russia, it's what is the enemy, in that case, the enemy, Volkswagen. We should find a way to circumvent Volkswagen, so we invest massively in Russia. We could even suspect Russian government to say it's better for Autovaz to have a foreign investor, because probably they will transform the company more quickly than it was in Russian hands. I don't know, I've not been there during the negotiation, right? But we can imagine this. So good deed for Russia, good deed for France also. And what is the benefit of this partnership alliance? First of all, these companies, and Renault has also other partners, which is Nissan and maybe Mitsubishi, a Japanese company. So first of all, let's have common purchases for all these companies. Save money in the relationship with suppliers. Second benefit, I can use the same factory to produce Renault cars, Lada cars, Nissan cars, Datsun cars. So a benefit in terms of manufacturing costs. And finally, in terms of branding, I can have a pyramid of different brands. I can play with these brands, so cover a big part of the market. What is the ambition of the two, the Russian and the French company in that deal? Is to maintain, because the market share has diminished, is to increase the market share of Lada over its other Western competitors. So you see, it's the interest of Russian company and French company in this venture. So in that case, this company likes joint venture, and we hope it will be successful. Non-equity collaborative agreement is the number 4 category of possibility to enter a foreign market. You can cooperate on all these elements of the value chain. And even a doctrine in strategy might be we should cooperate with foreigners in all areas of the value chain that are not the key elements of your competitive advantage. If you are extremely good in manufacturing, yeah, you have a superb technology and so on. This you don't want to share, but the rest is okay. Again, in the car industry, for example, French company, the name is PSA, Peugeot, the name of the model. They are working with their Japanese competitor, one plant in Czech Republic, but with products that are at the end a Peugeot car and a Nissan car. Okay, so we share what is not important in terms of competitive advantage all along the value chain. I found this example interesting. Auchan is one of the big hypermarket company in France, smaller than Carrefour, which is a bigger company. But Auchan has decided in their strategy, their definition of expansion, go to emerging market, was Central Europe and Russia. The same, no distinction. And let's enter this market. So it's quite big in Russia. But they have started recently a new strategy. They want to go up the ladder in terms of quality and price. And they want to open new outlets, such as this one in Moscow. But in that case, it will be under a system of franchising. So the real investor is probably a rich Russian entrepreneur or Russian company, which is happy to work with Auchan because they have the knowledge how to manage a supermarket. But the Russian partner has the knowledge of the Moscow market, how to find a good place, how to be compatible with the authority of the municipality, how to adapt the portfolio of products and services to the needs of the Moscow customer. So you have this mélange, but in that case it's franchising, so it's an alliance, but which doesn't involve a joint venture. It's not a joint venture between Russian company and French company Auchan. It's Auchan developing its brand in Russia with this name Moy Auchan, but with Russian money. And the benefit for the Russian investor is that he will have the profit, and Auchan will have a percentage franchising. What are the dilemmas with these different maneuvers? We want to invest in emerging markets because it is fast-growing. We have different motivations. We want to be big. We want to do it quickly. And what are the main difficulties? First difficulty has to do with capabilities, which are not necessarily technical. Second difficulty has to do with technology transfer, because after all, if you go in a foreign country and you bring your technology, somebody might imitate you. Third dilemma, what is the good percentage? Presence in emerging market, presence in rich market, and finally, the timing of this entry. Let's look at the capability. I mentioned Renault, French company in the car business. So they were busy in Russia, so they had not invested massively in India. So what to do to come back in India? They tried to make a partnership with an Indian company. Mahindra and Mahindra is one of the largest private, what they call business house in India, private company, conglomerate, diversified, very big, very competent. So for Renault, 2007, if we work with Mahindra, certainly we'll be successful. And they started selling in India a car model which is the Logan, the kind of low-cost model of Renault. It didn't work. So Renault had to invent a new strategy, opening a design center in India, opening a technology center, and finally creating its own factory in a province of India, in a state of India which is not too developed in terms of car business, in the region of Chennai. And they started operating successfully in 2010, and now they are at the stage of introducing in India entirely new models that do not exist in France, do not exist anywhere, but that they have created especially for India. And then I can explain to you the point of capabilities. Renault was looking for a new product to compete in India against Indian giants, like this company Mahindra or Tata, you know, Tata Empire, car, trucks, everything. So how to compete against these guys? So we want a new model. Renault, probably there are 2,000 engineers in their R&D department in Paris. So the guys starting looking what could we invent for India. But the more they were investing time and money to create a new model, the more it seemed it was totally inappropriate for India. So the company decided to create an entirely new entity in India with independent people from the headquarters that could be Indian in India and create an entirely new model. Consequence, they invented this car, totally new concept. You see the price? So it's reasonably low-cost product, which was very successful even against this product, the Nano, produced by Tata Group. So in fact, the point of capability is very delicate, because in that case, the genius of innovation, finding a new product adapted to this segment in India, could not be produced at the headquarters level. You have to invent a new, not only new strategy, but new organization, and new people going to Chennai to develop the project. And it's very successful in terms of positioning. So capabilities can be at the headquarters or can be at the subsidiary level. Second dilemma, I mentioned technology transfer. You know that for the European, Airbus is an important venture. It's a company which is French, German, Spanish, maybe Italian and so on. So this company, Airbus, wanted to sell their planes to China. And they started selling planes in China. The Chinese government said, okay, but we accept to buy planes if we participate in the production. So the French, the Germans said, okay, it's fine. You will assemble some parts of the plane, the wings. I remember one day I was in a meeting in Beijing, and my neighbor was from the Chinese company. The name is Avic. So I said, oh, you are making wings for the Airbus, it's nice. And what is the plan for the future? He said, make 100% of the Airbus. So I was a bit shocked. And he was right. This is Chinese ambition at the level of the company Avic, and government. We do not want to depend on foreign technology. So you see a long list, and at one moment, we reach 2012, and some of these Airbuses are made in Tianjin, in China, near Beijing. So tell me, what is the logic to give your technology to the Chinese so that they create very quickly a competitor, and tomorrow will buy Chinese airplane for Air France fleet for Europe? What is the logic? What way we continue to transfer technology to China in this domain, which is the generic and the benefit? Why we do this? We spend a lot of money, a lot of effort. We are very happy, and ultimately, China is producing. Yes, it is cheaper in Tianjin than in Toulouse, sure. but tell me good reason to do it. The cost, we agree that certainly there is a cost advantage on Chinese side compared to production in Europe.
Maybe some system effect, kind of system effect.
Yes.
Maybe another companies also do this, and to somehow combine the production.
To help you along this idea, you see Avic, the Chinese giant, they are working with Airbus, with Antonov, with Bombardier, with a company in Canada, with Embraer in Brazil, with General Electric, US, Rolls-Royce, Safran. Avic works with everybody. So can you go on with your systemic explanation?
Yeah.
Yes.
Kind of factory of innovation.
Yes, but the precise point is that if we don't do it, the Chinese will ask Boeing, so we are dead. so we are trapped. We are obliged to follow. More than that.
Maybe another suggestion is that we simply stop thinking in we and them. So that's true globalization. Why should we think we, the French, should not transfer to China? We are just one world. Why don't we share about this question?
I don't know if he's a diplomat or professor of strategy, but maybe a mix, so I'm afraid. But I wanted to add a second reason about Boeing or us. The point is the following. In any case, we cannot avoid the imitation from China or other countries. And if I can generate enough profit in my partnership with Avic in China, part of this profit can be reinvested in the new generation of planes. So in terms of innovation, the circle is correct if I continue to be more innovative in Toulouse than in Tianjin. So it's a race, but you cannot escape from it. And it's valid for all these companies. I remember I was in São Paulo with the guys of Embraer, and they were hesitating. And for them, Embraer, their main competitor is Bombardier. So it was them again, Embraer. And since from Brazil, Embraer and Bombardier are producing what Sukhoi is producing in Russia, which is the regional aircraft. You have to enter into this competition. It's not French against the Chinese, certainly not. But we want to keep some employment and some profit at home. Third dilemma, what is the percentage, what is the proportion? Should we invest more in emerging market or in rich market? I like the vision of this company. Lafarge-Holcim is a giant in the cement business. And they look at the consumption of cement. Consumption of cement, 55% in China. So not to be in China would be dangerous. So they have to be in China and to produce alone or with the Chinese. I think they have created the largest cement factory in the city of Chengdu in the West China recently. So I look at the consumption of cement, I look at the potential growth, and what I see again is that China is growing faster than some Western markets. Ultimately, we see here 46%, 51% in terms of turnover. We want, it's like an aircraft, we want two engines. We need a strong presence in rich market and strong presence in emerging market for this cement company, which is a global company, probably number 1 or number 2 worldwide. Dilemma number 4, timing. We have seen that going step by step to greenfield project takes time. Acquisition is easy, but maybe it's difficult. For Renault and Autovas to be profitable will take time. So it's a dilemma, timing. This is Carlsberg, the beer from Denmark company. And this company, you see, this is a map of China. We don't see well this is west of China. This is Tibet. This is Xinjiang province in the northwest. We have a common frontier, no, with Russia, little frontier. So why Carlsberg is investing in this part of China, which is far away from Denmark, believe me, which is very poor, which has very low level of development of infrastructure. So why go to Tibet? The Danish brand, Carlsberg, go to California, go to... Why they cannot go? At least they can go to California maybe, but why not go to Shanghai or Beijing or Guangdong, rich provinces? In China you have the same variety of purchasing power that we have seen on the list. You have rich China and poor China. Rich China is along the coast, and poor China is there. They invest in poor China. Yes, but and after all, you're right, I was laughing, but it is stupid because the niche, this province has maybe 20 million inhabitants, so it's bigger than Denmark. But it's not exactly because we want a niche. It's because it is
no competition.
It is because I'm alone. Nobody wants to go to Tibet. And it's because if I go to Shanghai, everybody is there. So it has to do more about facing the competition. And of course, in the end, might be a niche. And to make it a niche, I need that the products made in these provinces achieve not only success locally in the little province, but potentially exported from Tibet to the rest of China, to the rest of the world. Sure, you will buy Tibetan beer if it was possible, no? So we are in this province, Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region. Like in the Danone case, you don't see the name Carlsberg, even in Chinese, probably it's difficult to pronounce. So you have to build a local niche and potentially add it to your portfolio of beer. Certainly you want also to sell Carlsberg beer in the province. So it's starting a pyramid segmentation, different brands, but from the West. And then, step by step, regaining the center of China if possible. So you have to accumulate. It means that ultimately, in most cases, there is a disadvantage of late comers. It's too late. to invest in the beer business in China, so you have to find niches, geographic, or in terms of branding or segmentation, or the beer without alcohol, or the beer for different categories of population. So 4 dilemmas that are difficult to overcome. I'm not far from my conclusion, and we can discuss then. We like this market because they have higher growth, but the challenges are very high. Usually the relationship with government is more complex than in Western Europe or in the US. Also, there are many social transformations. Not only government is different, but the population is transforming every day in terms of purchasing power, in terms of lifestyle. And sometimes also you might meet problems in terms of currency, in terms of financing. So more complexity. Higher growth, this is fantastic, more complexity. The problem is also with this idea of a first mover advantage that you have to act quite quickly. And which means quick decision from the top. I'm the CEO of Carlsberg in Denmark, you are the boss of the subsidiary in the Tibet, and you want to make rapid decision to conquer this market. And so the distance between the headquarters in Copenhagen and the headquarters in Urumqi or should be minimum so that you can act quickly. You are not obliged to act quickly in Denmark or in France. It's very stable, too stable. But in emerging market, you have to act quickly, and more than that, you have to take care of these two style of companies, the local giants and foreigners. China, with the new presidency of President Xi Jinping, is quite nationalist. So they do not advertise about this, but basically they want to regain market share over the foreigners. So maybe those companies that have a partner in China are in a better situation than those that are alone, because at least you are protected by your partner in that case. So it's a guess. So difficult job. I conclude with some, let's say, not theoretical, but what did we learn in the past from traditional theories of, about entry strategy? At the time of Raymond Vernon product life cycle, the idea was, let's say, an American multinational at one moment, so the innovation is made in the US, and that one moment could be transferred to another country, less developed. So at the end of the product cycle, I will invest abroad. So it was in the 60s, 70s. From Johansson and Valmont, we can remember that they identified a process, and probably based on the experience of Scandinavian companies, the process was the following. I start first with countries that I know well, near distance, same culture and so on, and then I go further. And also I start with minimum presence, commercial presence, export, then little manufacturing, then herb, and it takes time. The process vision, this is okay, it's still true. And we have not Richard, but John Dunning. Eclectic paradigm, which makes an interesting link between competitive advantage, we call this ownership advantage, competitive advantage, location, the choice of the target, and internalization, that is to put inside the system of the company these new activities. But I'd like to mention 3 dimensions for research that might interest some of your colleagues or students. First of all, what David advocates about dynamic capabilities to conquer these emerging markets, to adapt quickly, requires specific management capabilities, which are not the standard in stable economies. First. Second, people like Dunning would have said that you should not invest abroad if you have not a serious competitive advantage. It's reasonable. If you are not stronger than the competitor, don't move, stay inside the border of your market. It is wise, but it is not totally true. We see every day Chinese company that say, oh, we have not a competitive advantage, but if we buy a company abroad, we'll accumulate this advantage. It's a recent case. China has a program which is called China 2025. It is like Germany 4.0 approach. Automatization, smart factory. Okay, this is China vision. They don't have the capability in terms of robotics. What they do, they buy one of the top 3 leaders of robotics in Europe, which is German company KUKA. They will not change KUKA in Germany. They will use KUKA capabilities to transform China. So you don't need, the answer is you don't need the competitive advantage before if you are ready to make, if you have the money, and you are ready to make the acquisition internationally. And final remark, the people call this ambidexterity. You cannot manage exactly in the same manner a fast-growing business in Tibet and a stable business in Copenhagen. It is not serious. So it's very difficult in terms of organization. You need different people, different style, different reward, different approach of the budget, the strategy, and the planning. Do you have questions about this? Yes. Maybe you need a microphone. I will help you.
Okay. Dear Professor, thank you so much for the fine lecture. My name is Lyudmila Larina. I'm the head of methodology department of Tomsk Kvantorium Technology Park, and I'm associate professor at Tomsk Polytechnic University. You talked a lot about the promotion of different goods, gas, cars, and planes to emerging market. But my question concerns educational programs. I have several questions in this regard. First of all, what do you think, what are key points, challenges, and maybe advantages of promotion of educational programs of Russia to other emerging markets such as India or China maybe? The second question is about the investors. Are foreign investors, probably in Europe or maybe United States of America, are ready to invest to the development and promotion of educational programs of Russia to other markets? And what is the most important to your mind, the content of educational program or the financial model to promotion? 3 questions.
Difficult question. I did not mention the vision in the past was that innovation could come only from rich markets. If you look at an innovation like Skype, when you exchange images with your friends, it was invented in between Swedish guys and Latvian guys. It was not typically an invention in rich market first. Second, we have a series of companies that now we call global firms, that they do not wait for this process, they are immediately global. So if we are in the internet business, the distance, the problem of culture, are we compatible, the Polish people and Russian people? No problem if it's marketing by the web. So there are many reasons that say that ultimately the good place to be innovative might be in Tomsk, or if I was in China, I remember always I was the advocate for my school to invest in Chengdu, not in Shanghai, not in Tibet, in between, to be fair. Why? Why? Because if I'm in Chengdu, and it's a reality what I'm saying, I can innovate, I can start as if I was starting from zero, I can bring totally different pedagogy and technology. I'm lost if I imitate foreigners or the established brands. I can innovate, I'm free, but I have to start immediately something quite different from the rest. So I can attract. I try something under the professor opinion, but I think I can attract in Tomsk in different domains, scientific domain, education programs, people from anywhere, including emerging market and rich market, if it is different. If it is different, and for example, if it mixes these 2 elements of advanced technology, artificial intelligence, and management. Pure management, let's say, finance, New York style is difficult. I cannot imitate, I cannot compete, I cannot win. There is no space for me. But in a niche, you mentioned niche about geography, but it's the same. I'm in a good position to innovate. I've been teaching in the past in Bangalore. There is an Institute of Management, they call them IIM in India. Bangalore is an it's emerging market. Probably Bangalore richer than other Indian cities, but incredible place to innovate independently from your passport. I remember one day I asked a Chinese giant company, the name is Huawei, guys making phones, telephones. Why are you in Bangalore? We are in Bangalore because there is a reservoir of talent. Huawei, the headquarters are in Shenzhen, near Hong Kong. So in the past, they tried to recruit Indian people. So they had an Indian village in Shenzhen, in China, because they knew that they were good in software or something. Okay? And then at one moment, they said, oh, it is stupid to have the Bangalore guys coming to Shenzhen. Let's invest massively in Bangalore. This company, in terms of investment, is not looking like ports for like Costco, this Huawei. They invest where there is talent. They find talent in Nordic countries. They find talent in Russia, mathematical, quantitative talent, and they find talent in Bangalore. You look at the statistics of their R&D labs. This is the geography: Northern Europe, Russia, India. More than in China, in a sense. So yes, talent is universal, plus agility. But of course, then you have to come with a new offer, something different that might attract different personality. You need to attract good students, but also good professors, right? No? I am adding a question to these three questions because I forgot what she asked me. Yes. Differentiation, innovation, something different. I can attract, I should have, I'm in a better position if I'm flexible. If the rules of the university, Mr. Rector, are flexible enough to give the opportunity for innovation, then I can innovate more easily in terms than in Moscow, more easily in Chengdu than in Beijing.
How to find the investor which is ready to invest some money to the development?
Do you believe in market economy ultimately or not? If you believe in market economy, we should have high tuition or top differentiating program. The professor agrees with me. He's smiling. He agrees for this. So at least I found an associate. When I started my career, I was the dean of a business school in a science park. Imagine in a very strange region, a science park between Nice and Cannes on the Riviera. The name is Sophia Antipolis. And I wanted to learn about science park, so I went to Japan, I went to the US. And I remember there was a science park at that time in somewhere in the south of the United States, Raleigh, this part. So I visited the guy, Mr. Chief of the Science Park. How do you attract students? Because to attract brilliant students in Nice was not evident. It was not a hotel school, it was a management school. So he said, my question was probably bizarre. I said, how do you attract companies there? Chapel Hill, something like this. Very remote, different from Paris or London. So how do you attract companies? And I thought he would say, oh, I have support of government, municipality, and so on. And so he said, no, we want to attract rich companies. So you're in Siberia, you're in the west of China, you're in the middle of Africa. In Africa, new business schools are booming also. You need not want to innovate, but to survive and to grow with market forces. So maybe government money is okay to start, but certainly you have the experience. You understand what I mean. It's okay to start, but it's not the good business model. It will never work. So you need to make sufficient money out of your research or teaching program based on tuition, based on participants that are ready to pay, or companies that want to help, not as investors, but companies they have to pay if you produce good students. Okay? So then there is a machine where you collect money, you invest money, and you do what you want. If you ask, or it would be worse in France, but if you ask the government, maybe you have a yes, but it's not enough for the long term. And we're in a long-term business, like the guys in the glass industry.
Last question. In your opinion, what is the best model for promotion of educational programs with our own brand, under other brand, or with or by alliance with well-known companies?
She followed the explanation. Have you seen category number 4, collaborative agreements without putting money in it? You can collaborate on branding. If you have a joint program with the best Russian IT company, people will be attracted by the name of the university and by the name of the company. If you contribute to a special dimension of sustainable development, because you're a specialist of ecology, whatever, if you have the blessing of international agency in Geneva doing it or making what you do, yes, co-branding. Co-branding for sure, but not only co-branding for the brand, but co-branding to participate with other people that have common interests. It's called complementarity of assets. That is people different from you. Different for you. You're a university, so maybe it's another type of entity. Your group would be passionate by what is specific about your experience. But again, what we know well, we don't know well what to do, but we know well what to avoid. To avoid is to imitate 20 years after what people do already in big cities elsewhere, emerging market or not. This is absurd.
So I have a question, because what I really like about this slide is that you put these new directions for research. And I have a question about the second one, because I think that's pretty important for
this one?
Emerging markets like China. So yes, if you take the Peter Buckley paper, you would say, no, it's not necessary to have a competitive advantage because you can buy it somewhere else. So you think about the strategic type of assets. But maybe this is not part of the puzzle in that sense, is that what if multinationals from emerging markets don't go for strategic asset seeking in the OLI type of stress, but more for market seeking. So then, what is their strategy if they indeed have no competitive advantage, but they don't go for the easy way out of strategic asset seeking, but go for market seeking? So then what are your suggestions about what we can learn, what we should do, or how do these theories of OLI framing apply for those kind of firms? So for example, Russian firms who want to go to Africa and have to compete without ownership advantage to the West because they simply are market seeking. What should they do?
I would like to try to answer first to your question about this. If I'm correct, in fact, the article of Ashai and Berkeley came after another article. I forgot the name of the author, but the guy, it was not, yes, it was the observation of Chinese company that make him understood that in that case, no, there was no competitive advantage. Typically, they were going, the Go Global strategy was the main motivation, it was to acquire abroad what you don't have. And, but it is specific of China, as the Chinese would say, it is a Chinese strategy, no, it is a international strategy with Chinese characteristics. I don't see this maybe in Brazil, yes, but not so much in India, not so much in Russia. In India, I've seen this type of, I'm speaking of the behavior, not the literature. I've seen Indian firms in the pharmaceutical business investing in Europe to do this step by step to go up the ladder from the generic to the
big leverage lure.
So, and then the battle is between these giants in India, or maybe Teva in Israel, and so on. So yes, we have some, it's not frequent, but we see a series of emerging market multinationals doing this systematically. I've been working with a Chinese TV company, the name is TCL. They are, on TCL, they compete on some products against Samsung, so it's difficult in terms of product innovation. They look at the value chain, they know what is missing, so it's a systematic plan on the demand. You're in charge of acquisition abroad. You have to, there are 3 specialists worldwide. What is the price? We want to buy this, to have all the elements of the value chain. This systematic approach is typically Chinese. Now, about ownership advantage or competitive advantage on entering new markets. So we see that the Chinese, they build infrastructure. enter Africa. And if you are the president of Ethiopia, you are happy. The Chinese government says we are ready to invest in the port of Djibouti and to pay for the railways between Djibouti and the capital city. It's difficult to resist to this offer, and you don't care about the politics between Ethiopia. And so Russian company will not do this. But I think again it has to do with innovation. And it might not be true in all parts of Africa and all industry. I don't know well about oil and gas industry. But in, I would say, normal industry, if I come with innovative products, and I think ultimately the advance of Russian companies has to do with their capacity in terms of technology and innovation. Not about cost, not about managerial talent per se, because there is little experience compared to Nordic company, right? But bringing new technologies in their domain. So this is the only possibility to seduce the local clients, government or big companies, I think. And but then to escape from the tradition of volume, low cost is difficult. It's in the brain. It's the dilemma you have. I remember, so again, we should avoid the temptation not to face the reality of the market. So Michael Porter, Larson, strategy is uniqueness. Be different. If you are the same and you are late mover, you cannot. Not only you cannot enter, but you lose a lot of money. Maybe it's time, Professor, no? A final question? No?
I've done
Thank you very much. Take the mic also, please.
Tout d'abord, merci beaucoup.
Ça, c'est
Je
bien.
vais bien poser ma question en anglais, d'accord?
Okay.
Diras Felixi, International Relations student at Dong State University. So my question will be more about politics and about the economy, but these two usually go together, right?
No.
So considering Russia as the emerging market for the Western economies, how would you estimate the investment climate in our country, especially taking into consideration the Western sanctions which we are facing at the moment? And according to the information which you presented, in 2016, Renault invested 1.2 billion euro in Afterwards. How would you explain this paradox? Because are sanctions really an obstacle for Western economies to invest in Russia? If so, how do they overcome these obstacles? And what do Europeans think about sanctions in general? Because sanctions are not good for business, true?
Oh, we have if you look at the literature about sanctions, we know that we have a word in French, we say, on se tire une balle dans le pied. You are shooting a bullet on your foot. So the sanctions, we suffer as much as Russia from the sanctions. Sanction is a bit bizarre, a stupid thing, because it's better to build the trade than to build walls, right? And there is no EU is not a unity. EU is a mechanism. So there is no EU force saying we want sanctions against Russia. There is a parliament, there is a commission. Maybe Baltic states and Poland are afraid of Russia. Politically, militarily, if you want to be precise. But since from Italy or France, we are not afraid of Russia. We work with Russia. Largest gas investment in the Arctic, Yamal, is financed by the Chinese with French company Total, the first ship transporting liquid natural gas. The name is Christophe de Margerie, is the name of the French CEO. So for some countries and for the industrialists of Western Europe, basically, sanction is something of the past. And typically the visit of President Macron to the summit in St. Petersburg a few days ago was about restoring the Trianon dialogue, so that to avoid, to continue the system of sanctions. I believe I'm a strong European patriot, and I know well that the interests of Europe are not the interests of the US. Okay, so I understand that US like to fight with Russia. It's fine. Both of you like this idea. But for Europeans, we consider Russia as a European country, even in Tomsk. This is why I was asking you if you were Asian or European. So I hope it's a circumstance of history, but EU is not a united force for the moment. You see problems with the Brexit, problems with Italy. Seen from Russia, you should not be happy of this potential disaggregation of Europe, because a powerful Europe is a friendly Europe. And we need a Europe-Russia alliance. I understand also the strategy of Russia toward East Siberia, this is the idea. But you know, to resist the China and India economy, it would be better to have Russian type. Russia, after all, is big territories, powerful nation, is big culture, but it's not a big population. Huh? So if we have Russia and Europe together, it would be better. So I think sanction is a story of the past. And I hope even that the more Mr. Trump is a bit crazy and the more Brexit we have, the more Europe will converge with Russian interests. This is my point of view. And I wrote to Mr. Macron about this recently, before his visit to St. Petersburg. I have no answer, so don't worry.
Спасибо.
Thank you.